everybody, happy guidance class day. I hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. And here we go. Let's start out with our awesome time. And if you're all done with your awesome time, then go ahead and jump to the Would You Rather card. Have fun. All right, welcome back. Okay, so now I'd like you all to pause the video again and walk to the color zone you're in right now. Good job. And now we're going to do a little settling in activity to settle in for guidance class and just get ready to listen, because we've been talking about how important it is to listen and to use good communication skills the last couple weeks in guidance class, haven't we? And so we're just going to practice now by just doing a little mindful activity, a little bit of settling in. And do you guys know what it means to be mindful? We've talked about that word before, but who can raise their hand and guess what mindful means? All right, good job. Mindful just means thinking about right now. Easy peasy, right? So if you're being mindful, you're thinking about right now. You're thinking about what you're doing when you're doing it. So yeah, sometimes when we think about mindfulness or when we think about being mindful, some of us might picture like someone sitting cross-legged and going like this, like, right? But it's not just that. That's one way to be mindful, of course. But you can be mindful doing anything. You can be mindful when you're riding the bus to school, thinking about riding the bus to school while you're on there. You can be mindful doing your homework if you're really concentrating and thinking only about your homework while you're doing it. You can be mindful when doing the dishes, right? You can be mindful anytime as long as you're just paying attention to what you're doing. You're paying attention to the present moment, right? So let's just practice being mindful and settling in and being good listeners for guidance class. Okay, so I want you to grab your pretend bottle of glue and glue the bottom of your feet. Good job. And now I want you to show me your hands. Make sure they're empty. No distractions, because if you have something in your hands that you're playing with, that will distract you and you'll think about playing with something instead of thinking about right now, thinking about what we're going to be doing, okay? So hands in your lap and sit up nice and tall. Please don't lean against your chair or against your desk because I want us to be ready to pay attention and to be alert and awake. But I don't want us to be uncomfortable either. So make sure your shoulders aren't like this when you're sitting up tall. Just kind of relax your shoulders. And if you want, you can do like a couple shoulder rolls, do a little stretching, get comfortable. And now I'd like you all to please, before I say this, please no talking during this, okay? And there's going to be a part at the end of what I say where some of you might really, really want to share with the class what you're thinking about in your head. Please don't. You'll get a chance to share it later, okay? So if you're thinking, I really want to tell people what I'm thinking, you will get a chance to tell others later. So for now, please just no talking at all. We're practicing one of our communication boosters of listening, right? Okay, so and last but not least, please close your eyes, because I'd like you to picture something, okay? So with your eyes closed right now, I want you to pretend and use your imagination that you are going on a vacation and you're on the airplane with your family and your friends, and you're just feeling so excited, and you're seeing the airplane fly over the ocean. And it looks so beautiful. It's blue and a little bit of green to color the water. And there's big, huge waves. And they just look so beautiful. And you're flying over that beautiful ocean in your plane right now. And your plane starts to dip lower and lower as it gradually lands. And it stops at a safe landing on the most gorgeous island you have ever seen. There's sand everywhere, and there's beautiful big palm trees, and it smells like coconuts and it smells like ocean, and it's super warm and sunny, and you step out of the plane and you could feel the warmth of the sunshine on your arms and on your back, and you're just smiling from ear to ear, and you are so excited. And you're looking around, and maybe there's this really cool water park and this really cool place for you to stay with your family, and you run as quick as you can to your family's cabin, and you get changed so you can get your swimsuit on, so you can go relax and build a sand castle and play in the sand. So this is feeling pretty good so far, like we're on a nice vacation, right? But now there's a problem. The plane ran out of gas, and you're stuck there on this island, which is kind of okay because it's like the best island ever, and it's a beautiful spot to be stuck. But you're really wishing that you would have packed some more stuff with you, because you're going to be stuck here on this island for an entire year. So you're thinking, okay, I love this island, it's super fun, but I wish I would have brought some other toys with me, or some other clothing with me, or some food with me, right? So now you have a choice. You are going to have someone drop off supplies to you, and you can only pick 5 things, 5 items for them to drop off for you. Only 5. So right now with your eyes closed, I want you to think about what those 5 things might be that you would really hope that you could get while you're stuck on that island for a whole year. Okay, good job. Now you can open your eyes, and please don't share your five items just yet. You will in a little while, okay? Now I'd like your teacher to please pause the video and divide you up into 2 groups in your classroom, okay? So just divide the classroom in half and then come back on the video. All right, welcome back. So now you have 2 teams in your classroom, and we're playing another game to practice communication, okay? So for this game, on your 2 teams, now 2 people on each team are going to be chosen to be the communication observers, okay? So those 2 people are not going to be talking at all during the game. They're just going to be observing the communication that's going on in your team. And these communication observers are going to get these little cards. And on these cards it says things like interrupting, ignoring, because if you remember, our 2 communication bloopers are interrupting and ignoring. And our 2 communication boosters are what? Listening and supporting. So one of the communication observers is going to get some cards that say interrupting and ignoring. You're going to be counting how many bloopers, how many communication bloopers your team makes while they're trying to figure out their 5 items to bring on the island. Then the second communication observer is going to get these cards, and it's going to say listening and supporting. You're going to be keeping track of how many communication boosters of listening and supporting that your team uses during the conversation, okay? So your job is very important. So please raise your hand only if you're agreeing not to talk during it, and to use and really listen and pay attention to the conversation so you know when they're using a booster and when they're using a blooper. So go ahead, pause now, and figure out who those 2 people on each team will be. And teachers, you can give them their cards that they'll need. All right, good job. So now your team is going to talk amongst each other and figure out what 5 things you can bring. You guys can only bring the same 5 things. So one person might be thinking, well, we really need some peanut butter and some bread and jelly for sandwiches. We need to survive. We need food, right? And another person might be thinking, no, I need my Xbox. I need that to survive, right? So you have to decide as a team what things you're going to keep on your list and what you're not going to. So it'd be helpful if you could get out a scratch paper and some pencils, and you can write down, you can only have 5 things. So I'm guessing this activity will take about 5 minutes to do. I'm not really sure. So you guys, there's some optional activities at the end of guidance. So it doesn't matter how long you take for this activity. It's your choice as the teacher. So however long it takes is just fine. But those 2 communication observers on each team, you need to be holding on to your cards, and every single time you hear someone interrupt another person, put a card down on the table, okay? And keep the rest in your hand. You put that card down on the table and it sits there for the rest of the game. Then you hear someone interrupting someone again, put a second interrupting card on the table. As many times as you hear someone interrupting, that's how many times you'll put another card down. Same for ignoring. And then the other communication observer, every time you notice someone listening to someone else or supporting someone else, you'll put one of those cards down on the table. Okay? At the very end, we're going to count those. So it's very important that you follow the rules. Alright, so please pause this video now. Then when you're done, please come back on the video so I can tell you how to end the game. Alright, go ahead and have fun and good luck. Okay, welcome back. So now to score the game, you need to make sure you don't mix up the cards you have in your hand and the cards on the table. So only count the cards on your table. And I want you to count how many listening and supporting cards you have on your table. That's how many times you guys as a team were listening to each other and supporting each other. So please count those cards first and write down that number. Good job. And now I want you to count the blooper cards. So the interrupting and the ignoring cards. And you're only counting the ones that were on your table from when your communication observer said, oh, you're using a blooper. So count those cards. Now I want you to subtract your blooper cards from your number of booster cards, because your blooper cards cancel your booster ones out. Okay, so subtract the number of bloopers from the number of boosters. And whatever that number is, that's your team score. So one of your teams, it'd be weird if you tied, but I'm sure one of your teams won. So figure out who won right now and then come back on the video. Alright, good job you guys. So that was just another fun way that we can practice communication boosters. And we want to, when we think about communication, we want to try to practice lessening the amount of bloopers we use and raising the amount of boosters we use, right? And that can be pretty hard sometimes, especially when you're working on a group project like the one we were just working on, because there could be, I'm sure there's a lot of disagreements about what the 5 items should be, right? And that's hard. When you're working with other people, it's even harder to use your boosters and instead of your bloopers, right? But it's super important for us to practice, because you're going to be working as a team the entire time you're in school. And even one day when you have a job, most jobs require you to work as a team with other people. And like we've said before, it makes your family run smoother and it makes your friendships better too. Alright, so now I'd like you to please click on the next video. There's a story that I want to read to you. And then after that story I read to you, if you still have time, I don't know if you will, but if you still have time left over in your guidance class, then you can click on the 3rd video link. It's a YouTube video that I sent you, and it's a YouTube video about listening, and it's just another way to practice it. Okay, alright you guys, I'll see you in the next video.